Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at how you can beat the artificial life forms category challenge mission and basically just see how difficult it is. Now I've gone with a bit of a probably pretty chilled build. You do need to have either the physical metal cooler or you're going to need to have the AGL metal cooler to pull off this team, but hopefully players have those units. If they don't, then it's a bit of a shame, but it's a full free-to-play metal cooler team, so something that's pretty easy to put together. Physical infinite metal cooler is obviously Wicked Bloodline's lead of 200%, so he would be ideal, although you can use the 170% lead of good old AGL metal cooler, so if you need to, you can use him. He would be a pretty good choice. And then of course, if you don't have either of those, it's going to be a bit difficult to run this team. Probably better in looking at running an artificial life forms team under the AGL Cell, who does power absorption and Android Cell Saga, or possibly considering Gamma 1 as your option. Gamma 1 is very powerful. Did consider using a team built around him. However, I thought the cooler team would be more fun, and since a lot of players probably have the free-to-play coolers, you could probably run them. Now, in terms of the overall look at this team, I would probably change one thing in hindsight, and I would probably switch out the physical metal cooler free-to-play unit for the AGL physical metal cooler free-to-play unit. The main reason being is that physical type units seem to have a little bit of a poor matchup in this situation. That's really about it though. Everything else is more than fine. All free-to-play units, all a pretty decent time. The items that I took were a Princess Snake, a Whis, a Icarus, and a Chi-Chi. Mainly you could probably drop the Princess Snake and just bring a Ghost Usher or something. The thing is you have so much health regen with the metal cooler units that you don't really need to bring health restoration items, but you can, I guess, if you want to. You also have a revive between the two LR coolers, so you're generally in a pretty decent position. If we take a look at the metal coolers that I chose, so the tech one, just a great unit really. Obviously, they all have the standard attack and defense of 40% per Wicked Bloodlines unit. So on this team, they're all going to be rocking a full 200% passive. Okay. The tech one debuffs the enemy for 2 turns, seals their super attack for 2 turns with 3 or more rainbow key spheres obtained, and just in general is pretty much a good attacking option. All of them change rainbow key spheres if they're in the first slot as well, which does help. The int one I chose because obviously again he has the ability to heal, which is always great. 10% start of turn, 5% at the end of turn with 3 or more rainbow key spheres. And also there's an additional attack and defense of 10% per key sphere obtained when there's another metal cooler ally in the turn, so that made him pretty decently tanky. The strength one, also again pretty good, gives all allies attack and defense, which is great, and then also gives all allies a further attack and defense of 20% when 3 or more rainbow key spheres are obtained. More of an attack based unit, but really not too much of an issue, since the metal coolers, the physical LRs, are going to be doing most of the tanking. And then finally we have the LR itself. I decided to use the LR instead of the AGL one. In hindsight, I'd probably bring the AGL one, just because I think using the AGL one would be a bit more fun. The stage really wasn't too hard. The cooler team handled it really well. So you could honestly use the AGL one and take the knock on the leader skill and still have a pretty similar result. One thing that is noticeable, there's not a lot of Saiyans, so the AGL one does lose his base crit buff that he has against Saiyan units. The physical one is also really good in this exact situation you're seeing here, where we are literally just nullifying every single damn super attack that comes our way, which is pretty good, not gonna lie. It's obviously great to have that nullification. It really does help out overall, and yeah, we do really well by utilizing that nullification. Obviously it's not guaranteed, it is a great chance, But yeah, it's pretty helpful, especially in the second round against all of these trio units here from Universe 5, I believe it is. But yeah, basically we end up taking them out, and because of the attack nullification, it's pretty safe to put Metal Cooler in the first slot. Metal Cooler is obviously great, 10% HP recovery at the end of the turn in which an attack was received, an additional 5% when there's another ally whose name includes Metal Cooler, which is always great. Recovers 10% HP at the start of turn, another 10% if we're below 50% HP. He's just got a whole crap ton of defense after he's been hit a couple times. More attack as well. He debuffs the enemy by lowering their attack on his 12 key and defense on his 18 key. He's just really, really good. To cut a long story short, he's great, and he also has the ability to have an active skill if we need it, and we have a revive if we need it. So an unconditional revive as well. All it requires is for him to die, which is pretty good. So Cooler really is fantastic. Like I said, you can definitely use the AGL one, but there are not a lot of Saiyans in this run, and so using him is not the greatest thing to do. And then also you lose the nullification. I would definitely bring the physical LR as a friend. If you've got the AGL Metal Cooler that's easy air that you're going to use as your lead, that's more than fine, but I would definitely bring the physical one as my kind of lead ready to go. And then of course we've got the strength one. This is the Metal Cooler, not Metal Cooler strength. This is just the strength Metal Cooler, and he's great. He does a fantastic job, with attack and defense of 150%. He gives Wicked Bloodline category ally support. He gives crit chance. He also has additional super attack abilities, and just in general, he's a pretty good unit to use. I'm not going to get too into semantics about why he's good, but he's just incredibly solid. All of them have a great link set. None of them link that great with the physical LR, which is always the only real shame when you look at this team. But yeah, honestly speaking, this team just ran it so well. I would probably even just try no item run with this team. Like at the end of the day, I think if you get lucky with the placement of your physical Metal Cooler in the first round, you're probably fine, to be honest with you. The team just handles everything so very well, and it can just really dish out a lot of damage. Like I said, I would probably switch in the Metal Cooler AGL. I definitely would if I was considering doing a no item run, and the main reason of doing so is just because of the evasion and defense that the unit has. Obviously, in terms of the artificial life forms, there is quite a large selection of units you can choose here. You can run, for example, the kind of cell android kind of based artificial life forms. You can kind of go more of the Majin Buu Android 21-ish based artificial life forms, and yeah, you can kind of see how things go from there. But honestly speaking, it's really not that big an issue. I think all the teams have enough to kind of make it through. I think the Majin Buu team might possibly be the one that's the most hindered. They have some super strong units and then quite a big fall off, so it might be the one that's the most hindered. But I think it's it hasn't got the most recent buffs, barring Strength Kid Buu. But I think for the most part it will function accordingly. I think it will function to the necessary standard, if that makes sense. Obviously, it can entirely be, let's say, argued that the Majin Buu team could be better, just because of the sheer strength of some of the units. But yeah, it's just going to depend realistically on what you have in your box. Obviously, you can run a combination of all of them under the Artificial Life Forms leader skill. Obviously, you can do that, although link-wise, they don't necessarily link up the wildest if you do that. Generally speaking, they are relatively straightforward units that are actually better in their own kind of little subsections. You know, the Majin Buu Saga units have fantastic, link sets amongst themselves. The Cell Android units kind of have the same situation going on, and then obviously the Metal Coolers also have a very decent situation going on. Beyond that, that's pretty much it. If I'm honest, the Metal Cooler team really made things quite easy. Obviously, them being free to play also makes them highly accessible. So them pairing up with just the 2 LRs was really all I needed. Their versatility, the healing they bring, the debuffing. Yeah, there's a lot of really, really good things about them, and I think all of that put together really made a super solid kind of collection of team. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, guys, I do appreciate all your support, and yeah, obviously, if you did enjoy the video, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and as always, I shall see you in the next video. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Oh, and if you need assistance, please just remember to leave a comment down below, and I'll gladly try to help you out. But that's going to be it from me. Thank you, take care, and bye.